Hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of People in the News in North Texas. My guest today is Deborah Jones, a candidate for the Republican nomination for Judge of the 431st District Court in Denton County in the March 2020 primary. Thank you for being here, Deborah.
Thank you for having me.
If you would please begin by telling our viewers something about your background.
Well, I was born in Monroe, Louisiana to two hard-working Christian parents, and they trained me to be the best that I can be at whatever I strive to be. They did not complete their high school education, but you better believe they made sure that their children went on and became educated. Having said that, they provided for our needs, worked hard, didn't ask for much. We didn't talk much politics in our home either. It was all about Christian faith and hard work. I moved to Texas in 1989, married to Reginald Jones. We've been married for about 34 years. We have two children, biological children. We've adopted a son, and we're foster parents to a child as well.
All right, let's begin with the questions of what are the qualifications to be a district court judge?
Well, the qualifications to be a district court judge is simply being an attorney for 5 years and living within Denton County, the county of where the district court sits. So those are the qualifications to be judge, but to really be good at being a judge and knowing the law are things that people should look at when they're deciding on who to vote for as well. So qualifications are simple. The experience is very important when a candidate runs to become judge of a district court. Having the experience of 17 years as I have, practicing consistently in the district courts that are in Denton County are things that citizens should look at when deciding who to vote for as well.
And there are several district courts in Denton County, and they're all located at the courthouse in Denton, right?
The courthouse on McKinney Street in Denton, that's correct. We have 9 district courts in Denton County, and they each have their own types of cases that they hear. Some of those courts only hear family law and CPS cases, and the rest can hear criminal cases and business law cases as well. So it really depends on the particular court as to what types of cases that they hear.
And how long is the term of office?
4 years. Once elected, it's a 4-year term. There have been appointments that are maybe 1 year and then they have to run for re-election, but the term would be for 4 years.
Right. All right, now what type of cases are handled by a district court?
As I previously stated, there might be CPS cases, family law cases, business cases, cases involving medical malpractice. It really depends on the particular court. The 431st court handles mostly family law and CPS cases, but also hears criminal cases and business law cases as well. But it was commissioned to hear family law and CPS cases primarily. The current judge of that court is board certified in criminal law, so he hears some criminal cases in his courtroom as well.
So if a person commits a felony, let's say in Flower Mound or anywhere in Denton County, and they are they go to a grand jury and there's an indictment, they end up in district court?
They end up in district court, that's correct. If it's a felony, then it goes to the district court in Denton County. If they're indicted, so just being charged with that crime doesn't mean that they will be in court, but if they're indicted, yes, it will be heard in the district court.
Are there many cases in which a judge makes a decision rather than a jury?
Mostly the judge is making decisions because jury trials are expensive, so in order to pay for an attorney to cover that jury trial and the expense of the jury trial, most citizens can't afford that. So a lot of the cases are heard before the judge, which we call a bench trial in that instance.
So they opt for a judge trial because it might be more expensive having an attorney through a lengthy process with a jury.
That is correct, because most jury trials are at least 3 days and some could be even longer than that. And if it's a private paid case, then the citizen has to bear the cost of that. A lot of times in criminal cases, though, you will have court-appointed attorneys, so the county's bearing the cost of that jury trial in that instance.
But that has to be requested by the defendant.
That is correct. That is a request made by the defendant, majority.
All right. Now, if a decision by a district court is appealed, to which court would it go?
In Denton County, those appeal cases go to the appellate court in Fort Worth, and they hear requests for appeal. Now, just because a citizen is requested appeal doesn't mean that the appellate court will overturn the judge's decision. They will look at what happened down at the lower court, and when I say what happened, the evidence that was presented, the steps that the judge took, and they will make a decision on whether that judge's decision should be overturned or not.
And if a higher court does grant an appeal, does that mean that there was an error by the lower court?
If the court grants an appeal, that means that there was an error in some form or fashion, or the evidence should have been considered that was not. It doesn't particularly mean that the judge did something wrong personally, but it means that something wasn't considered that should have been considered. And then that case may come back down to the lower court for a new trial, or the appellate court could tell the trial court to reconsider this and make a different type of decision. So it really depends on the case as to what the appellate court may or may not do.
I guess judges don't really like their decisions to be overturned.
Absolutely not, which is why judges should follow the law at all costs. I mean, all the time should follow the law.
Sure.
And in that respect, you have less chances of your rulings being overturned. Now, citizens can appeal just because they feel like they got, the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that a judge did anything wrong. That's just a right that a citizen has.
And that's a decision made by the higher court. They would look it over, and if they decide something was improper and the defendant was not properly represented or what have you, then that's their decision. But I'm sure that the judge in the lower court would not be happy to have that happen, because that's like, I didn't do the job right.
That's exactly right. That's it's almost a black mark or something on that particular judge if the appeal court overturned their rulings, which is why the judges try to follow the law at all times.
And that's great, because that makes them more conscientious about what they do. They don't want to be overturned.
Right, and it also gives attorneys, they have knowledge going in that this judge is going to follow the law regardless, and that we have to present evidence for him to make a decision based upon the law. And judges don't legislate from the bench and try to change the law. They have to follow what's on the books at that time when making their decision.
All right, now let's talk about your campaigning. Is this the first time you've run for political office?
It is not the first time that I've run. I ran about 10 years ago for political office.
Okay, so what will you be using? Literature, debates, door-to-door? All of them?
I am using all of the above. We'll be using literature, debates, participating and appearing for events, meeting people door-to-door, which Denton County is pretty large, so there will be a lot of walking. Not only walking shoes, I got to make sure I eat and keep this weight that I have, because I don't have much to lose there. So, but we will be walking and meeting people, and it's been a lot of fun. I must say, a lot of work, but a lot of fun.
Right, sure. Well, door to door is probably the toughest thing to do, because you got a lot of doors to hit.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so I know you have a campaign website, and that's going to be in the written portion that will be with this.
Yes,
so if there's anything else you'd like to add, please do.
Yes, sir. For district judge, my qualifications are I'm board certified in family law and child protection law, double board certified. I'm one of only 16 attorneys in the state of Texas that can claim that, which means that I have the experience. I've been tested by the State Bar of Texas, and if elected judge, then the other areas of law, I can push family law and child protection law aside and focus only on those. The law is there for me to learn, and I will be diligent in learning and serving, just like I have in being an attorney for 17 years.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Deborah, for being here. It's a pleasure meeting you, and good luck in the election.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching.